All right, let's get this party started. And I said that the right way. I just want y'all to know I said it the right way. Let's get this party started. Welcome to a celebration of life. Before I get into the people, the person, I'm going to give a little context first. Can y'all hear me good? I kind of think that this is my tone I want to be at tonight. And we go, all right, first off, my name is Tim. I'm the general manager here at Alberta Street Pub.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you very much. I want to get into the context of how I got to do this for Paris and 3 other people. I want to say their names right now too: Christine, Chantos, and Barbara. And you will get that context from me right now. Me. I'm born and raised in Portland. I grew up literally on Alberta and Grant. That's the house I grew up to. I went to King School. I went to Jeff. I live right here on 15th area right now. That part said, I'm from this neighborhood. I am a regular at Donnie Vegas, so I am not speaking to y'all as the GM of Alberta Street Pub. I am speaking to y'all as a Donnie Vegas regular. If you don't believe me, y'all should know how hard it was to get this hoodie.
January
2020. It was not easy to get this hoodie. You had to go there every day in January 2020, and we know what happened in 2020. That's without saying. It's just I worked hard and drank a lot for this hoodie. Being a regular at Donnie's and also being somebody that works in the restaurant and bar industry, you get to know regulars. Me from both sides, whether I'm sitting out at the bar drinking and meeting people, or if I'm behind the bar. Sometimes I know people both ways. A lot of the times I know both people both ways, and that's cool. But I am a regular at Donnie Vegas, and when I say how hard it was to get this hoodie, my wedding day was one of those days I had to go to Donnie Vegas to get this hoodie, and I got the wedding photos at Donnie's to prove it. Now with that said, I want to speak about 4 people, and I'll do them in this order, and I'll start with Chantos because I definitely knew him, but I didn't know him as well as the other 3 I'm going to talk about. But at the same time, it was always cool, and I always just saw him at Donnie's. That was the only place I really knew this dude from. He was always wild and full of excitement and always cool to me. So for me, I appreciate that. And rest in peace. Cheers.
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 Barbara was my next door neighbor. Literally, I'd see her every day walking with her walker. She'd come in, and what's funny about Barbara is, like, even if you couldn't understand what she was saying, you kind of knew what she was saying. So I got a lot of love for Barbara, but one thing I know about Barbara, she loved my puppy. I got a puppy about 1.5 years ago, my first pet ever. And every time I seen Barbara, that is the first word, where's your puppy? She at home with the mom. I can't bring her out. She's too wild. But Barbara was always like anybody at Donnie's that knew Barbara. It was just like, oh, here comes Barbara. And we got to deal with it that way. And hey, man, I'm not up here to lie. I am up here to be honest and celebrate and be happy about the stories I can tell. And I'm going to tell the 4 quick stories of the 4 people, and then I'm going to move on to how this is going to go today. But I got mad love for Barbara, so that hurt the community, that hurt all of us. All this hurt the community. So with that said, rest in peace, Barbara. Cheers.
Cheers.
Christine, I met while she was working at Vendetta. I used to be a right? I used to be a regular or a wine club member at a wine bar over there, blah, blah, blah. But that's how I met her. But the one thing I could say that was really tight about me and Christine's relationship was one of the bartenders that used to work at Donnie's. Her name was Jessica. Jessica used to open every Saturday and Sunday. And the first two customers she had every Saturday and Sunday were me and Christine, and then Jason. But I mean, that's how I remember my Saturdays and Sundays being for a very long time. And we can talk about anything and everything. She lived right around the corner. We all lived right around the corner. It was one of those things. So to Christine, somebody who was really another important person in my life, cheers.
Cheers.
And I'll talk the longest about Paris because I got the story. I was like, man, I'm not finna sit up here. And everybody in here probably got a million stories about Paris, right? So that's not. So I had to think about the one that made the most sense. And since we're standing at Alberta Street Pub right now, I'm gonna tell the Alberta Street Pub one. I was GM of this place a couple years ago, so I've been GM of this place twice. The first 2 weeks, it was 2 weeks in or whatever. I'm at home. It's like 4 a.m. I get a call that the alarm tripped. And I'm like, the alarm trip? What the hell? John, you know the story. So I come up here, I walk in. I don't know why I didn't check the patio. I had no idea why I didn't check the patio, right? But I come in, I check the venue, I check downstairs, check the kitchen, check the bathrooms, check the bar. Nobody in sight. I set the alarm, went home, went back to sleep because I had to be back here to open the bar. And I get here probably 7 hours after that, somewhere between 9 and 10. You know, light up a cigarette, walk out on the patio. And I'm walking around, and then sitting at a table over there was just Paris. To which I said, dude, what the fuck are you doing here? Tim. I tried to get out the door, the padlock's out. I was like, okay, at least I know why my alarm tripped. So I'm not mad at you, I'm probably mad at the bartenders for not checking the bathroom. You fell asleep in the bathroom. Oh, damn it, Paris. So it's okay. It's all good, bro. Let me let you out. Have a good day. So that's my one Paris story I'm gonna tell. But with that said, I know we're all here to tell our stories, reminisce, celebrate, and do that. So that's what we're going to do. But with that said, I want to say this part first. Just like to all of y'all, Paris was important to me too. And I'm not trying to play who loved Paris more tonight. I'm just trying to play We Love Paris. That's the only thing I want to play. I want to give a quick shout out to Jamal, who has Dre watching us. That's Paris's brother, watching us over there. Is he in Cleveland?
Somewhere in Ohio.
He's somewhere in Ohio, but Dre is watching this, so Dre's gonna see the love showed to Paris tonight. I just want to establish a few things right now. I know my list is gonna go, but we gotta have some rules. And most importantly, this is not an Alberta Street Pub thing. We moving this to Donnie's. This is those 4 people that I just talked about. That's where I have the bulk of my relationship with them at. So I talked to Donnie's. This is not a Alberta Street Pub thing. This is a collaborative effort with both bars. So come celebrate with us over there tonight. It's an Alberta thing. It's straight. And I love Alberta. This is the only street I know. So from that perspective, I feel that love. I know the old school, I know the new school. I have adjusted. I love it all. This is an Alberta thing. We gonna party at Donnie's. But I know people brought instruments tonight. I want to give a real quick shout out to my staff because I don't usually get on this mic without saying that. That is a Saya on the sound right now. No, it's fine. You can clap. It's cool. In the kitchen, we got Jax and Lindsay. Calvin is my bar back tonight, and Calvin's an Alberta dude too. Yeah, I'm telling you, a lot of people know Calvin. Calvin's bar backing tonight. I got David out here on the satellite bar, and then behind the bar, what do I got? I got Russell and Aaron. So that's my staff. They're working hard for y'all, and we gonna do this. So let's start it this way. With the list I'm going to put anybody. If you want to say something, I got tissues and everything, please come up here and say it. I'm not going to try to stop anybody, but let's think about the time. Let's not try to do like a 10-minute set. Like a song is cool if you want to come up here, but I really want people to come up here and just be honest, be heartfelt, and do what they got to do. So I'm going to... One other quick thing. Forgot to say this. This is very important. If you want to donate, a portion of the proceeds of my sales, just in general, are going to families. I will figure out how that goes. I'm not just gonna sit here and not. It's just going to happen. But if you like to specifically donate to one of these families, you can go right to my bar, say the name, tell them the amount of money you want to donate to, and that will be 100% given to the family. And so if that's probably the easiest way for me to get it through tonight, because I do know that there's a Cash App, so we can do the Cash App, stuff like that, but I can get it to the families 100% like that. I just want to know. I just don't want to know. If you want to know, just go to the bar, say the name, how much you want to donate. I see that in my sales, and I give that specific number to whoever. So that's out there. But the time thing, we can get up here, but let's just be mindful of the time. Come up here, say what you gotta say, make people laugh. Also, this is a very important rule when it comes to talking about Paris tonight. Every single Paris expression is accepted tonight. Do your Paris impression, because that's what makes this night work. I have never heard a person in my life with a voice like this. He was a wonderful singer, we all know that, but without him having to sing, it was like, who is that talking over there? And so I know we got him in us, so let him fly. Just let him fly. So the first person can start, or I could... How about I just start with Victor?
Thank you, Tim.
Oh, my fault. I did not do a cheers to Paris. Paris, cheers.
Isaiah, can you just play that intro track before I speak? This is the first recording I have of Paris.
Hello, everyone who came, because you're fucking awesome. Probably shouldn't say curse words in front of you, but... And thanks for being here. At the end of this year, if you got one, raise one for the end of God knows what era this is. And salud. Nostrovia, if you will, because Russia's going to take over. Anyway, T-song, we go.
I want to talk about 2016. It started with us losing David Bowie, and it ended with us losing George Michael on Christmas. So many musicians were taken from us that year, I made a 100-photo project. The ghost ship fire in Oakland, where my music community moved from, happened late that year in 2016. And an entire underground music venue that was running without proper safety protocols burned to the ground. Fans and musicians and sound guys all. And I knew people in that building, and I knew people who knew people in that building, and it was tragic. And that whole year was full of death. And when I moved to Portland, it was to join a house called Adventureland Ballroom and to live music. And this was the show that happened my first day in Portland. And it was Paris Brewer headlining the house I was moving to. I'd packed everything I owned into a car and driven up from California to be a part of music in Portland. I had my 88 key Korg Triton keyboard straddling between my front and back seats. My elbow rested on it as I drove up I-5. And my first full day in Portland, Paris Brewer was playing my living room, and he used my piano. And this is my sustain pedal, which was broken when I moved up here, and I tried to get it to work and I couldn't. Paris went on stage, cursing that he didn't have a sustain pedal. And every time Paris played Adventureland Ballroom, and raise your hand if you've been to Adventureland Ballroom, I know there's a few here. Every time Paris played Adventureland Ballroom, he cursed the fact that my sustain pedal was broken. And so I have, not from this show, there's some of this on SoundCloud, but I have the show we did at the end of 2016 that I recorded. And it's 34 minutes of Paris Brewer singing Leonard Cohen and John Lennon and David Bowie. And so, at whatever pace that it makes sense tonight, I have a soundboard recording of Paris Brewer live recording people that he loved. And I'm in a band with another member, Blake, over here, and we made a point to do collaborations this year. And in February, we collaborated with 5 different artists, and Paris was one of them. So we've also got a song that, for all I know, is Paris's last recorded material. And so that's also on offer tonight to play whenever anybody wants to hear it. If you want to hear it now, we can play it now. If you want to hear it at the end of the night, we can hear it at the end of the night. Can you go directly to the end and play Robot of Love? I'm going to get off stage, but if anybody ever needs Paris Brewer singing another song in between speakers tonight, I've got 10 tracks we can play. So if you want to start with Robot of Love, Paris came to our studio and he played the piano. We worked out the chords with my songwriting partner. We built the song together. He played the piano and he's like, this needs strings. So we switched over on that same chord that he would always complain about the sustain pedal on. There's still no sustain pedal on this. But he laid down 2 string tracks, a piano track, and 4 harmony vocals. So if we can fill the room with Paris's voice tonight, let's start with, I apologize, it's slightly tongue-in-cheek, but Paris was also slightly tongue-in-cheek, so please enjoy.
I just can't help myself. I'm programmed to put you on the shelf. I'll install a firewall of protection to prevent virus.
sorry, I forgot to do my Paris. Your goddamn pedal don't work! I can't play a piano without a pedal! Alright, that's it.
See, the cool part about tonight is it's gonna be a lot of laughter. I honestly do think that's why that's part of the reason why I was like, no, do the impressions, because I mean, like, you gotta understand. I think we all understand. It's not you gotta understand. We all understand how unique this dude was, and in celebrating his life, you gotta laugh. There's no way around it. It's just like, this is Paris we're talking about. We're going to laugh tonight. Like, tell those.
What's up, John?
And like, it's just funny. It's just like, he's just one of those people. Every time you walk in the bar, here comes Paris. Paris is here. Here we go. And I know he loved everybody in this room, because y'all wouldn't be here if that wasn't the case. But I can say personally, he loved me and my wife too. My wife couldn't be here tonight, but like, he stayed with us a few times. It's been like, all right, Paris. But man, I am ready to put the next person up here, because I want to keep this party going. Next on my list is Keegan. Keegan, you ready?
I did. I forgot my guitar strap.
Grab a chair. Yeah.
Oh, I think I got something better for you.
Oh, okay. I'm into it. Straps in my other case, I guess.
Yeah. He's ready?
Yes. Thank you.
You got it.
Take off my extra hardware here. Thank you. It's right up here. Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hey. Thanks for that recorded music. That was awesome. Paris was the first person that I met in Portland. I moved here in 2010 from Chicago, and ended up at a house party that was packed shoulder to shoulder. It's just hundreds of people. There was a band playing in the basement, and it was just chaos. And my nerves were fried, and I needed to escape somewhere. And so I went upstairs into the living room and found a little two-seater sofa couch that had nobody on it, or so I thought. And I sat down, some peace. And then I realized that the couch wasn't empty, and then it was actually this scraggly dude sitting next to me. Just real quietly, smiling, just thinking about something, And we ended up striking up a conversation. I don't even remember; it's such a vague memory now. But I remember it was a Monday night, and he told me that he hosts an open mic at a place called the Deli on Tuesday nights. And I swear that I had been in town for maybe 3 days when I met Paris at this party. And I went to the Deli open mic. I don't know if anyone here got to attend that, but it was right over on Killingsworth. But yeah, a long time ago now. And that's where I met every single person that I'm still friends with in Portland today. Like for my old friends that I first met here, I met every single one of them through Paris. And I don't know where I don't know where I'd be if I hadn't met him first. So, I don't know. And we connected through music and played songs and sang harmonies and did that kind of stuff. And I've never met his match, so that's why we're all here today. So I'm gonna. I'll try to do this Johnny Mitchell song. Pardon me, the weather has had its way with my tuning.
castles in the air, feather canyons everywhere, looked at clouds that way. Now they only block the sun, they rain and snow on everyone. So many things I could have done, clouds got in my way. Looked at clouds from both sides now, up and down, and still somehow it's clouds, illusions I recall. Really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, dizzy dancing way you feel, and every fairy tale comes real. Looked at love that way. Now it's just another show. Leave them laughing when you go. And if you care, don't let them know. Give yourself away. Looked at love from both sides now. Give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. Really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud. Say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, looked at life that way. Now old friends are acting strange, shake their heads, they say I've changed. Something's lost and something's gained, living every day. Looked at life from both sides now, win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. Really don't know life at all.
Bye, my friend.
I still act like COVID is real.
Good, because it is.
Thank you. Opinions are opinions. Have yours. I said mine. Here's one thing. Fun fact. Fun Paris fact. And I'm always going to talk about me and my relationship with Paris at Donnie's. I can't emphasize enough how much this night is about Donnie's too, so understand where I'm coming from. But fun fact, if you ever brought your instrument to Donnie Vegas and Paris was there, it is a 95% chance he was going to end up playing it.
Accurate.
I'm just like, that's just how it goes. He's going to end up playing it. He's going to sing the serenades that we got. Who is that? Who is that? That is Paris. Yeah, we all know that, and I'm going to miss that just like the rest of y'all. Let's keep it moving to the next person. This next dude coming up. When I first started going to Donnie's, I think it was 5-6 years ago, he was a bartender there. so he may have a story or two. So Eigor, it's on you. Where you at?
Igor.
Oh, there he is.
Paris.
Yep.
I feel like he had this ability of like doing his thing, his musical thing, and including everybody. Like, this is something that we're doing. I wasn't doing anything, I was just standing in the back, having a good time. But he had this like very inclusive approach. And I think that he had this like really beautiful vision of everybody doing what everybody wanted to do. And he gave space, and he was really silly. And he had so many mannerisms that were so unique. I think that he made me feel like I had a little spot to explore and to have fun, be silly, and get drunk, and things like whatever. It was always funny. It's unfortunate that my OCD.
There you go.
I'm not even gonna use
Yeah,
it.
no, you got it.
It just looks good. Yeah, he like gave that space, and I think that he had this vision of unity and love and giving coming from like a super black gospel fucking background. He had it. He had it in with the blues. He had it in with homies, OG, all day. And he showed that to me, playing his piano, doing his voice things. He had so much musicianship. I feel sad that he comes down to like another statistic of homelessness in Portland. However, he was super special. He was super special, and it's sad that it just becomes another number, but it's not, and we all know that, and we all feel that. Hopefully, if you know.
Paris ain't nothing but a number. He ain't nothing.
No, he absolutely OG backed that ass up during that all day. He killed it, and he really killed it, and he really like had so much fun with everybody. I'm speaking personally, like I didn't write this, like it was off the dome, but I really wish that he had reached out that last week. Maybe one meal, one shower, one something could have made another couple months, another year, who knows. I don't know the trajectory, but I know that a lot of us had provided a place for him. I know so many of you did, and we all like have our own different pathways that we gotta seek, and I feel that it's okay that it wasn't there all the way. I feel like there is hopefully love that he found in all of us throughout. I'm sure he did. It's a bummer, but I do feel like, on the positive side, that his spirit and love for unity and genuine expression was always, to me, the meaning behind this individual who I crossed paths with when I first moved here. I didn't know anybody. I met him on his block, and he made me feel home. And I would hope that is something that we can take and give to others, regardless of like how tall you are or like what you look like. Because like I think there was like an ineffable essence that he perceived of people that were trying to do something, and he was really like hopeful and gave us space to explore that. I think that's what Paris means to me. And we all get a little fucked up, we all do our silly things, whatever. There's no judgment on that. But I always believed that it was coming from like such a genuine and kind heart. He didn't ask for anything that didn't pertain to the next day. So nothing else but to live and to explore. I think that's a gem of a human.
Yeah.
And wherever he's soaring now and like surfing the skate parks, like rock on, dude, you know? But he left that for me to feel home and to feel kind and not see people for what they look like or what they wear, how they smell, whatever, hair. You know? There's always something more about him. And I'm gonna miss that. But I really hope to see that from here on. I just hope that kind of like an octopus just kind of seeps through everybody.
Can I propose a toast to that statement? Like, let us like continue to like carry on that spirit of Paris, like that you're describing. Like, let's keep it going.
Let's keep it going for sure.
It was hard and also in a way like pragmatically that he came back to Alberta in his last couple. But I think it made sense to me in a way, because like you come back to where like you feel home and safe, and this was a spot with all of you. And I hope that it's not these last couple months that make you think of what happened or whatever, but rather like the long trend of his approach in this area and why he wanted to be here and what he wanted to create. I think that's beautiful. And I think that's how I'm always going to remember him. As an aside, I don't sing much, I play lots of music, but he was the only individual that made me sing, and it was Christmas music. I'm not going to sing it for you today. But like, I remember he taking me to the Alibi. Summertime, everybody was looking great. I wasn't. I was coming from work. and I sang my little Christmas theme.
Which song? Which song?
Christmas time is here. But he gave me that space, and we had that little connection. I don't know. I always felt supported. I want to remember him in that light.
I got it. Thank you, Igor. Thank you, Igor. Before going any further, I want to thank two people very much, John and Ada. Kind of when this idea happened, I walked over, talked to the bartender working at Donnie's that night, Colleen. I was like, I can do this here at the pub on Tuesday. I can figure it out. I want to get the right channels going before, because I don't want to step on toes or anything. But to Ada, who made the flyer, and John, who really did help us get this happening tonight. Thank you both. I want to keep it moving. I think the next name that I wrote was James. Yep, James.
You never call me. You never call me.
That's what he used to say to me. And then when my brother came to visit,
From May.
not too long after I met Paris, like so many people here who have already said, I feel like almost everybody's like, when I first came to town, Paris was one of the first people I met. No joke.
Me
Right
too.
there on 24th and Alberta, the old Anna Banana.
Show of hands. Me too.
And when my brother,
I'm like so many.
and
Before it burned down.
when my brother came to town, he met my brother, and so he the two things he'd always say to me first time he saw me after a while is, well, you never call me, but also, why couldn't you be the hot brother? It's true. I would not lie to you right now. I'm going to play you a song that really has been ringing in my head from pretty much the very moment that I found out that he died. Without too much preamble, it really speaks to some of the harder feelings that I've been having, that I think some of you probably have had. Just feeling like, God damn, I wish you could have done something, right? I saw him not that fucking long ago on Alberta in the park. So what good am I if I'm like all the rest? If I just turn away and I see how you're dressed, if I just turn my, what good am I? What good am I if I know and don't do? If I see and don't say, if I look right through you. If I freeze in the moment, like the rest who don't try. What good am I? What good am I while you softly weep? When I hear in my head what you say in your sleep. If I turn a deaf ear to the thunder in the sky. What good am I? What good am I then to others in need? If I have every chance, still fail to see. If my hands are tied, must I not wonder within who tied them and why, and where must I have been? What good am I if I say foolish things? If I laugh in the face of what sorrow brings. Can I just turn my head while you silently die? What good am I?
Yeah, go.
Everybody able to hear me okay? I'm trying to decide exactly what I need to say. My name is Jen. Hi. The last time I saw Paris, which was many years ago, because I was mad at him.
Always.
He had, I had some excuses, but what it boiled down to is the whole time I'd known him, he'd be telling me about how he's going to hit it big, and I watched him destroy himself, and I was mad at him about that instead of mad at myself about being more supportive. Last time I saw him, what happened that night, which is not the part that pissed me off, was that I awoke to 2 cops shaking me awake in my own bed. And it's because he had gone out the door, accidentally locked himself up, decided to come in through the window, and the neighbors saw some small black man breaking in through my window, called the cops, and one of them called through the window to say, hey, so I woke up to cops shaking me awake. Hey, is there anybody else in this apartment with you? Anyone else supposed to be here? My friend Paris. Was he a small black man? So, the thing is, like, you find Paris, you have to go looking for him because you're not going to be able to call him. You're not necessarily even be able to get him on Facebook or anything else. So I'd gone looking for him, and I found him, and he and I were hanging out and drinking whiskey, and we both fell asleep early, and he got up and went out to smoke and locked himself out. And about a day after that, I cut him off because I was mad. Not about that, but what I said. Paris and I met in about 2001 in Cleveland Heights. A friend of mine's gay ex-monk son brought him home from the Arabica where he'd been playing in an open mic night. He was 19 at the time. And I love everybody and taking all the strays, so they were both welcome to come there and bring their conquests and be safe. And we've been friends ever since. And I've been here for years before somebody said something on Facebook about Paris and Portland. I'm like, what? Paris is in Portland? I will find his ass. And so I did. I took every lead I had, which was nothing.
Yeah.
I went out into the universe, trying first the Florida room, and then up and down the street, and everywhere, and everyone, going to strangers' houses and knocking on the door, before somebody said, well, he's probably at, I think it was called the Gold Nugget. So I go in there, I ask, no, they haven't seen him. I'm gonna pee and go home. When I came out of the bathroom, I heard his voice, and I came up behind him and tapped on the tube. He went, ah! JT! Lord! Ah! And we cried in each other's arms for like 5 minutes. And I wish I could say that we hung out all the time, but like I said, you had to go looking for him. And he was a pain in the ass. I want to leave you with a funny, theoretically, deeply inappropriate note. I once asked him, Paris, you're a tiny gay black man. What do you think about dick size? He says, bigger dick the better.
Jen, right? Jen? Cool. And thank you for taking that. Sometimes I get out there and then things happen and I get caught up. And so thank you for coming out there.
I got all kinds of stories, but I was clearing it down.
Leave them in the house.
Yes, you did. We also have Indiana in the house. All right.
What?
Oh, and I go to Indiana once a year.
So, for me personally, I'm gonna try to keep everything I say about Paris in a Donnie's light. I know I've said it a couple of times, but for those that I see there are more people here, everything's kind of standing in Donnie's light for me the way I say it. And thinking back to the days where the tables were out front, those were kind of some of the funniest days because I can think about how there was about 20 to 30 people I knew I was going to see on very certain days. Friday, Saturday, we knew where we were sitting. We knew how to leave the patio when they were closing and get out front to get the seats first. We knew how to get the bars. You know, we had our Donnie's tricks and stuff like that. And and Paris, like, you know what? I'm going to say it the only way I know how to say it. How do you know how to feel like I'm about to be annoyed but entertained all at the same time? That's kind of how it felt, and you always welcomed it because it was Paris. So, you know, like me, I'll just get up here and keep dropping them nuggets like that because, you know, I can get into specifics, but I really don't want to hold time. I want to hold time for everybody else that wants to speak. So next up is John L. You ready for this? I didn't even know that was you. I thought it was just another John. I thought it was another John.
Because there's a lot of Johns.
my God, shut up, John. Let me talk.
So, I'm John. I've been friends with Paris since 2010 to now. I've been with him through pretty much everything. He's one of my closest friends. It's such an amazing thing that, you know, you're all here and we're here together, even though there's circumstances. But that's the thing, you know, Paris brought people together, you know, and there's so many different circles of love that he brought. I've met so many great friends that I'm friends today with Paris, you know, and I don't know if I never met him, where I'd be right now. I don't know, you know, and that's the thing, you know. I thought, Paris, I'm gonna get a ranch and we're all gonna come up there, you know, a ranch, yeah, in Colorado, great. You know, I met Paris at a God and Goddess burner decompression party, and it was, yeah, right. And he was in a tux. And he actually had a job at the time, and he was beautiful, you know. He said, "I'm Paris Brewer, nice to meet you." And I was like, "Hi, I'm John." And I was actually sober at the time, like 6 months. I had just gone through treatment because I had alcohol, you know, problems. But that night, I relapsed and got wasted with Paris. He said, "I'm a musician." Oh, I said that, and he's like, "I'm a musician too." Oh. So we proceeded to go to the gazebo and just fucking wail and howl and everything. You know, he was a merry prankster. You know, he was an amazing person. You know, I'm so glad I could, you know, have a person like that magical in my life, because when he saw that in me, and he sees that all in you. So, you know, there's. You know, we went so many memories I have of Paris. I was at Donnie's just earlier. You know, we used to hang out at Donnie's, as you guys who hung there already knew. And I was loud as shit, and Paris was loud, and we were probably entertaining the crowd. And I tried to like, "Shut up, John! I'm talking. I'm trying to tell a story." Virgo, you know. And I feel like cancer. Like, you know, so we were married in our past lives, you know, and we're like the dynamic, we're the fucking odd couple. Like, people would be like, "What the fuck is going on with you two?" You know? That's true. Right? I mean, like, there's such a weird, you know, dynamic with Paris. Yeah, but Paris could keep up. He was one of the only ones who knew my, you know, madness and brilliant. You know, he was just a brilliant person. You know, I loved him to death. You know, the greenhouse, you know, I met him, you know, I went on adventures with him. One time I spent my birthday with him, and we were, it's a crazy story, but we were broke as shit, right? And we were like, he was staying at this squat, you know, with this dude who was Derek, but anyways, I'm just doing a social experiment, right? And I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" He's saying this dude is the junkie, right? And he, you know, and it was this old squat by the Safeway over in Alberta. And I went over there, it was my birthday, right? And we had no money, and I was like, "I want to get some beers," so I guess we were literally gonna go look for cans in the recycling bins. I know, right? High point of my life. But so I was looking, you know, in Northeast, right? This is gentrification times, you know, early. So we find this. I'm looking through the recycling bins, and I'm like, Paris, come, I'm like, "Paris, come here," and I find all these full beers, right, in the recycling bin. Like, literally, I was like, "Is that a blessing from God or what?" The devil, you know? It's like, "Oh yes, come here," you know. So yeah, that was crazy. We got drunk. We had an old ass guitar, you know, playing. But you know, that was amazing. We were happy and free, and just, I mean, I was 30 pretty much. I mean, 45 now, but we were young. You know, we were really young still. It took us a while to grow up in Paris. Never did, but yeah, that was just, you know, the times, man. I mean, you know, I thought it would have been either, you know, Red Rocks in the green room or this, you know, and unfortunately it's this, you know. But I love Paris deeply, and I'm really sad, he's not here. And I was at Donnie's, today. He is here. He's laughing at all. Oh, you. He is here. He is. I can feel him. It's fucking weird, but they go through so many emotions, But I was at Donnie's. I was just, nobody was there. Nobody even, Tomas maybe, he was in the bar, but I was in the back, and I was like looking at the table with all the graffiti and just, imagine, him, there back in the day, right? Just talking shit and singing and, who here has bought a drink for Paris? Raise their hands. Okay. Who here has let Paris stay on their couch? Okay. Yeah. Who here was fucking flabbergasted when they first met him? Oh yeah. So I'm just, it's just amazing. So many friends I've met, so many great friends, some aren't here right now, but, Sean's live streaming this, so that's great. There's so many different circles he had, but we're all here together, with him. And it's sad, but this is, Paris is laughing at us, and he got the last laugh. It's the last waltz or whatever he'd been playing, but just, I love him. And we couldn't, whoever feels guilty right now, what you could have done for Paris, we all tried, we all tried. We all tried, and don't feel guilty, Last time I talked to Paris wasn't the nicest thing I said, but I just didn't want to see him like that, and but don't feel guilty, man. We couldn't. We gave him all the love we could, and he just was so. The spirits, it was just, too much, it's just, we loved him to death, though. I love him I just love him. I kind of want to say this, I was going to say, operator, that was a song Jim Croce, but I feel it's kind of beckons to Paris, because it's like, operator, will you help me place this call, because there's just somebody I want to talk to. He's living in heaven with the angels singing songs. And that's just the way it goes. So let's forget all of that. Give me the numbers so I can find him. I can call just to tell him I'm fine. Show I've overcome the blow. Learn to take it well. Only wish my words could convince myself that it just wasn't real. But that's not the way it feels. Oh no. Thanks.
Two real quick things I'm gonna say, and then I'll get on to the next person. I didn't think I was gonna say this part, but I want to say it was last Tuesday. I'm the general manager here, and with that said, I don't bartend or cook. I usually just do the job. I can do both, but on this particular night, I bartended. I was just like, no, I'll just work the bar. And John and a friend came in, and they were like, we're about to go look for Paris. And right when he said it, my heart sunk. And I was just like, that, just him saying that to me was like, you're saying that to me. That does not make me feel good at all. I could only imagine how he felt. And I remember they left, and like right before they left, I poured them both a shot. And just like, no, go there. The other time is, the other thing I want to say is the first time I met Paris, because I haven't said it yet. I did not meet Paris at Donnie Vegas. Even though I was talking about Donnie, I met Paris at Soleil's. I do some performance, and I do spoken word every once in a while, and there was this open mic there that night, and I was there performing. My buddy was doing the show. He's like, Tim, can you get out? I don't get out to do as much as more. I get a lot of I get busy with a lot of things, but that night I actually had time to be there. And I remember I was there. I just started dating my wife. She was my girlfriend, obviously, there. And then, but this dude walks in this all white cowboy suit with sequins all over it, turquoise boots, a guitar case, and this cowboy hat with the sequins to match. And my first impression is, what the fuck is that? I am not lying when I say, what the fuck is that? And because, yeah, you know, I didn't know Paris yet. Like, from my perspective, I don't know Paris. So anybody that sees anybody that comes in flamboyant, you can't help it. It's a natural reaction. You're going to be like, all right, what's going on here? I kind of really want to know. Oh, is he performing too? Like, okay. And he gets on the mic and he does his thing. It was, for me, somebody that hosts shows a lot, what I appreciated, what I saw that night was he knew what he was doing. Like, I've dealt with a lot of open mics where people tell me they good and they get up there and they are trash. And it's not like I've heard bad singers perform better than a lot of good singers. I can say it that way too. It's just like sometimes it's about the show. Like, hey, I run a bar that has literally shows here all the time. This is something that I know about. But Paris was something about him, and I could tell like there's something about this dude that is dope, and that's his personality. And we met in short that night. But it was kind of crazy because when I met him at Donnie's, it was like, oh, you that dude. Tim! like dude, the dude. You know, he had a way of saying every single person's name in here. I'm sure Paris could look at every single person in here and say their name. Yep. That's dope. We need to give Paris a hand clap for that right now. So that's my 2 cents right there. Let's move on to the next person, Suze.
I'm going to actually get on the mic for a second, and then we're going to get Kay, but let me get on the mic. I'm just going to say a couple words. Hey everyone, I'm Suze. I'm going to be squinty because it's a bright light, but I'm glad, Tim, you told that story about getting decked out, because I really took that seriously and I got really dressed up for Paris tonight. Because my dear friend Kay Franklin Porter, Cleveland, Ohio, Kay Franklin Porter, who was one of my very best and first friends in Portland. I moved here 2004 to the Alberta area, and Kay and Paris were like right there again. I'm really curious, show of hands, how many people met Paris first thing when they came to town? Because like I know there's a lot of us out there. There's at least like a third of the room right here. I mean, so I'm just saying, like, that was a special thing about Paris. And one thing also I have to say about Paris is that he had a special thing about doors. And it's interesting how so many of the stories so far about Paris have been about doors and, like, you know, like tripping the alarm and, like, can't get out the door, getting back in the door, jumping in the window, and, like, what is that? That's, like, a lesson for us. It's a beautiful thing. So I want to say I got Kay on the phone, and Kay is going to say some words because Kay and Paris go way back. Kay and Paris go way, way back. Kay was one of the people at the forefront of the search for Paris that just commenced in the last couple weeks. And I do want to tell a brief story about Paris the way that I want to remember him, which is that a couple years ago, my husband James and I, who Paris likes to take credit for getting together, he's like, I remember when 10 years ago when me and James were kind of like not quite together yet, he's like, he likes you, he likes you, and he like, you know, egging me on, and he did the same thing with James. And then once we got together, and after we were together for a long time, when we decided to get married, Paris always liked to take all the credit. And he's definitely due for a lot of the credit, but maybe not all, but still, that's his personality, that's his flair, that's his beauty. I want to celebrate that, and I want to celebrate how my husband James and I were like driving down the street. We're driving down MLK going north, and we just like, it was like, I don't remember, it was like early springtime, it was a little cold out, and then I saw Paris walking north on MLK, and I was like, holy shit, it's Paris, like pull over, you know, he like pulled the van over. It was just like, there was like traffic, we didn't give a shit, we're just like, and like just hung a right. Like pulled over in the van, then Paris like came over like, oh my god, Paris, how you doing? And like it was this whole beautiful thing, and my dog Naga freaked out and sang this beautiful song. She loves her friend, she loves Paris, she loved Paris a lot. And then Paris was like, let's sing a song. Let's sing a song, and I guess, you know, the crazy thing right now is that I think we're gonna have to sing the song because it just came up in my little storytelling. You ready? You got a guitar? Sure. We're gonna do a quick song, like a quick little hymn that one of Paris's favorite songs that I really would love to invite and encourage everyone to sing, or anyone. Everyone to sing along, because Paris loved this song, and pretty much every time I saw Paris, which was frequently over the 20 years I've lived in this area, he wanted to be singing this one with us. I'll let you take the lead. Is there another mic we can get live right now, or this one?
Live.
Another mic, another.
One bright morning when this life is o'er, I'll fly away to that home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have gone, I'll fly away like a bird from prison walls I've flown. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away.
Anyone got another verse? Nope. Anybody? Crowdsource? No? Internet. Thank you. I'll fly away. No more cold iron shackles on my feet. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly And now we'll hear a couple words from Kay, who's on the FaceTime. She's gonna say some hi and tell some stories maybe or something. And thank you.
She ran away.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
It's echoing in the phone. You guys, I kept thinking that the Alberta Street Pub should have flood insurance for this event. You know? Oh God, you guys, I love you all so much, and I'm so thankful for all of you through all of this. All those boots in the ground, those eyes, sounds, everybody just, it spread like wildfire, and I can't thank you all enough. It's hard to pick, I have so many words that it's hard to find the words, but it's funny, everybody keeps talking about how they met Paris, and I met him when we were teenagers. There was this little strip of grass that was in a triangle at this strange intersection by school, and it was where all of us bad kids went to smoke the devil's lettuce. Yes, and one day I was going to smoke the devil's lettuce, and I saw this amazing little pixie, this beautiful little pan. He was like a satyr, this gorgeous little heart, and he had a flat top and a polo shirt and those cheesy plastic chokers that everybody would wear in the 90s. And for the last 30 some years, I have never stopped giving him shit about it. Ever. And I never will, Paris, just so you know. It's so amazing to hear all of the lives he touched in so many different ways. I know he is, as always, going to, he probably will be even more of a catalyst now that this has happened.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know, I feel like a lot of people saw him on stage, and I was always thankful that not only was he my most patient and one of my most beautiful models, I loved dressing him in all the finery I could whenever he'd let me, and I loved forcing him to take a shower before he did it. So stubborn. He was so stubborn.
So stubborn, motherfucker.
I feel so thankful to have been his costumer in the green room that was his life. And I realized a couple of days after we found him, so many people wanted to help, and so many people tried to help. I know we all tried our best to keep him safe and warm. And I realized why he was so stubborn about it, and why he always did what he wanted, because for most of his life growing up here in Cleveland, his society at large, his whole life had told him that it wasn't okay to be who he was. And I was so thankful that he ended up, I ran into him, I went home, I was like visiting home, and I went to one of Alex's open mics, and I heard this voice I hadn't heard in a few years. I just heard, Tammy! Is that you, my love? And I was like, Paris? And we ran across the room to each other, and we just held on so tight. And he's like, how's Portland? And I told him all about it, and all the wonderful people I had met, and the adventures I was having, and the music we were making, and the art, and I was visiting an old friend in Buffalo a few months later, and he called me up, and he said, I'm moving to Portland! And, the rest continues. I just really hope, and I know he's finally safe. I know it. And I know he loved you all so much. So much. He remembered the silliest details about all of you. Every single one of you. I want you to know that. And I want you guys to know, I really hope that this is an inspiration for us all to never give up hope to make the world a better place. And even though we are in this weird upside down nightmare we've been in for quite a while, we can do this together. That's how we got here in the first place. And Paris won that. I love you guys all so much, and I'm so glad he is still introducing people to each other in the next round. I thank you all so much for your patience and your love and your kindness and your effort to find him. And I'm so sorry if I haven't gotten back to anybody yet. I just want you to know that I will, and I hope to hug you all soon. Please hug each other tonight. Please call the people that say they're okay, because the last message I got from him, I was so worried. I kept having these dreams, and he just said, "Oh honey, I'm fine. I'm fine, honey, I'm fine, don't you worry." So, call your people. And above all, love yourselves and each other, please. Thank you guys all so much for everything.
The weird part, Kay, Suze, James, thank you for that. That was awesome. The weird part for me about a lot of this is we all know. And what I mean by that is we really all do know. It's like Paris wasn't perfect, and none of us are perfect, but we all know the Paris situation. And it's just like...
Well, we all here. Not necessarily people in, like, Ohio.
Here, in Portland. This is a Portland... basically, actually, so thank you for that, because the context to what I'm saying is exactly what Kay was just saying. It's just like he was absolutely accepted here. And I think the beautiful part about that is I think he's going to be remembered in a way that they don't get in Ohio, but everybody in this room does. So that's awesome. So I am definitely going to keep it moving on to the next person. The next person on my list is Avery. Next person on my list is Lewis.
Gonna make me feel okay, alright. Everybody has such great stories about meeting Paris. And honestly, I don't remember meeting Paris. I remember the Triangle at Shaker, I remember Coventry. It was in Cleveland Heights probably. 20 some odd years ago. But I saw him again last year. I suddenly discovered that he was in Portland. And we met up, and we ended up spending the entire night together. I ended up sleeping at my house. He met my wife, met my daughter, 4-year-old, well now 4. And played some music, and I only got to see him one more time. We ended up hanging out at his place and playing music all night that evening. Paris to me really emphasizes what happens when you throw a stone of love into a pond of water, and it goes everywhere. So, thank you.
Hey everybody, so I'm Avery. Probably most of you know me. I can't see your fucking faces in these lights. So I met Paris as long as I've been hanging out and living on Alberta, and due to our shared vices, my time scale is a bit fuzzy on that one. But I used to get off work before I worked at Donnie's and head down there, and I'd see Paris almost every night. And I'd have been cooking for 10 hours, light a cigarette with my beer, and Paris would walk up to me, and he'd sit down and he'd look right at me. And he'd take my cigarette out of my fucking mouth and put it in the ashtray and grab my hands and say, "Avery, what do you personally think is the meaning of life?" And I would say, "Paris, motherfucker, leave me alone for like about a half hour and I'll get back to you. I need to decompress and also brush your fucking teeth." But one time, Paris, we were closing down the bar together, and he said, "Can I sleep on your couch tonight? I really need a place to stay." And I said, "Absolutely, get in the fucking truck, let's go." So we drive back to my house, and I'm living with my roommate Kiefer at the time, who was an Alberta kid too. Me and Kiefer lived in the house right next to Radio Room that burned down Thanksgiving of 2017. I'm sure most of y'all remember that. And so we get back to my house, and I say, "Paris, here's the couch, here's a blanket, here's a pillow, here's the remote, do your thing, I gotta go to bed." He says, "Okay." And I'm in my bed asleep. About 15 minutes later, "Avery, are you awake?" And I said, "Yeah, I am now, what?" And he said, "I was thinking, what if your roommate comes home and he finds a strange black man sleeping on his couch and he does something?" And I said, "Paris, two things. First off, I don't live with racists. Second off, you've known my roommate for no less than 5 years. Go the fuck back to bed." Which months later, he admitted to me, "I just wanted to cuddle with you." I was like, "I fucking know you just wanted to get out. It was blatantly obvious from the fucking get-go." But the next morning, we woke up, and by that I mean Paris woke me up at about 9 a.m. Keep in mind, we'd gone to bed about 3, and he says, "I want cigarettes. Where's the nearest convenience store?" I was like, "Fuck, okay." So I go across the street with him to the convenience store, and we get a pack of cigarettes. And we're sitting on my front porch, 9 in the morning, smoking cigarettes. He's got a tall boy Rainier. And I'm like, "Shit, it's my mom's birthday. I gotta call her." And he's like, "Yeah, call your mom." So I call my mom, and I got about halfway through the sentence, "Happy birthday, Mom," which is only 3 words, so like, "happy." And he just grabbed the phone straight out of my hand and proceeded to belt out an entire rendition, beautifully, of "Happy Birthday" to my mother, and then with zero context, handed the phone directly back to me. And I said, "Mom," and she said, "Who the fuck was that?" And I said, "Caroline, that was Paris." And she said, "You guys need to get more sleep."
I knew that one was gonna be animated. I just knew it. Yeah, I knew that one was gonna be animated. And honestly, thank you all for being here, and thank you for your patience. We're almost through. I got 3 more people on the list, so I'm gonna keep it moving and then get the party going. So the next person up is Salem.
Hi everyone. None of you probably know me. I'm a barista at Just Pops, which used to be Anna Bananas. And I wasn't going to come up here and talk because honestly I'm intimidated because I didn't know Paris very long. I've only known him the last couple months of his life. But I think I feel now how I felt the last time I saw Paris, and if I don't say anything, then I would regret it. So I'm going to come up here and say some words about Paris. But I think first I want to thank everyone here for bringing me his music. When I knew Paris, he could barely talk, and I'd never heard him sing before. So it's really special to be able to hear him sing. He's a really beautiful singer. So I just want to say everyone for that. It's really special to get to know that part of him, and not just the part that I knew the last couple months of his life. And what did I say? Sorry, one second. I was just gonna say that I feel like everyone kind of expressed like the joy of getting to know Paris, and also like there's this part of everyone that feels a little bit of guilt, and I guess I kind of want to speak to that in the most lighthearted way possible. I think everyone maybe feels like they didn't do enough or say something, and I think I kind of want to like have everyone let go of that burden, because I think being there for the last parts of his life, I did kind of say something, and people around him did say something, and I think that he, as everyone expressed, kind of does what Paris wants to do.
Yes.
Yeah, and exactly, and so the what ifs don't really matter. I think Paris like made his choice, and maybe all those choices weren't good, but I think there's nothing like anyone should feel guilty about, because the people who did reach out to him in those last months or days do know that like he already made his choice, and he it might not have been good, but he was happy with it, and he like he has peace now. I think that's what the theme is, and I don't have very many stories about him, obviously, but I just want to share one that I do remember. He came to Just Bob's, and I always give him free beer. I love giving away free things. It's my small dig at my employers for working in food service. So I give him a beer, and he rolls up, and he's just talking, and he's like, I got a blessing today, and I'm from the West Coast. People don't talk like that, like a blessing. And so I was wondering what he was talking about. I thought it was something grandiose. I was like, who blessed you? And but it was something so simple, which I think it talks to how beautiful Paris was and how beautiful his mind is. And he said, I was at Alberta Park, and somebody had a trash bag full of warm clothes, and it said, for my Alberta neighbors. And he's like, I had a hat in it, I had a sweater in it. And that was the blessing that he was speaking to. And I think that highlights like how optimistic Paris was, but also like how little that you really need to do to help somebody. Just, give them a small bag, a hat, and a sweater. And I guess that's my only story about Paris, but last thing I want to say is that like we all kind of maybe know Paris through being in food service, working at bars, and like that's not always a fun job, but it is a job that gives people community, and I guess it's like Paris is the kind of regular that keeps me like working where I work and working in the industry we're in and working in Alberta, because all the bad days, all the long hard days where a bunch of people come in and don't tip you, it just takes like one person like Paris to make a community and to make your day. And I'm glad for him to bring us all together. Thank you.
And we're gonna keep this celebration going. Next person to the stage is Rachel.
I said that right?
Yes. Hello, friends of Paris. I don't have a lot to say, like Salem. I didn't know Paris all that well. I knew him for a fairly long time, and once you meet him, I mean, you just never would forget him. And the way that I met him was that I met him at my house, actually. I came into my living room, and he was wailing on the piano, and it was absolutely glorious. And we used to host I think it was a weekly jam at our house called Shady Grove in Northeast Portland, and Paris was one of the people who would come by and sit around the fire or in the living room. and just sing with us and play music. And one thing that I loved about Paris is that he and I both shared a love for Gillian Welch. And so we loved to sing her songs together. And in fact, the last time I saw Paris, I think it was James's birthday party last year, I think it was. Yeah, it was last year. And the last song that Paris and I sang together was Annabelle by Gillian Welch. So I will never forget singing that with him. And I will miss him because you will never forget Paris.
You got Landon? Abraham Landon? Hold up, there's a lot of service industry people in here, so y'all know I had to go refresh the towel. That's
Thank you for keeping us safe.
Oh, there it is.
Next up is Landon.
Anybody here from Bloomington, Indiana?
Bloomington, Illinois. Been there. Tell it.
I first met Paris in Bloomington, Indiana, by a dear friend of ours, whom we both lost about 6 years ago. A dear, dear friend. And we mourned about that later. But so we lived our life out in Bloomington, Indiana, and we kind of knew each other in the music scene out there. And yeah, it's unfortunate that none of you are familiar with Paris back in the day, because yeah, he was just as flamboyant, if not more so. I remember one night we were hanging out at the Video Saloon, and he had just finished an album, and they decided to play his album that night without asking him first. And it was close to last call, and he was just not happy with it. And we were sitting down in a booth, and he was just ranting and raving, just, you know, man, you know, you guys know. And we're just like, man, Paris is cool, man. Like, nobody, it's fine, whatever. And he's like, nah, dude could be such a diva sometimes. And we love him for it. But fast forward to, I moved out here in 2012. And I had no idea that Paris had moved out here. I just moved out here, he had moved out here, and one night I was sitting at Nutty Vegas, because I was living in the neighborhood, and I look over and I just, what the, Paris? And I just get that, oh my love! And I response, and it was amazing. And you know, we spent the rest of the evening just catching up, and just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, huh? What? You know? And it was just like, oh yeah, dude. You know, we suddenly had this like Bloomington connection with each other, and it was beautiful to have that. And you know, and so there were many nights of him just coming over and just hanging out and reminiscing of the old days. And there was one night he comes over and he's just like, yo, where's your gig at? And I was just like, dude, he passed away last weekend. He's like, oh my God. And my cat, his name was Arpeggio, and we called him Gio for short. And so he just picks up my guitar and just starts playing Weird Fishes by Radiohead. And just you know, like, who gets that kind of consolement, just personal consolement? It was, what a beautiful thing. And yeah, you know, he would come over and we would just sit on my couch and watch old horror flicks and just make fun of them and talk shit, and we thought we were so hilarious, and we talked about how we were gonna have our own little YouTube channel or podcast where we would just talk shit about old horror flicks, and we were just like yeah, and we'll have that one token white person that'll say that one thing, and we'll toss them out the window like DJ Jazzy Jeff and Frank Bel-Air. Yeah, dude. Like, yeah. We were pretty serious about that. Like, yeah, we're gonna do that someday. Yeah, so many stories from that dude. Like, what a wonderful person. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not the best storyteller, and like, what's coming to mind, yeah, I gotta miss the guy. To quote one of our good friends from back in Bloomington, "Oh no, here comes trouble," meant that he loved you. Really do. Yeah. Gonna miss him so much. Thank you guys.
I'll say what I got to say at the end, so I'm just gonna keep us moving through. I got 3 more people on my list, and the next one is Dylan.
I'll spare you the stage if I can. I'd say I knew Paris probably 12, 15 years, and probably 3 out of 4 days Paris Brewer did not like me. But if I asked him to play Miss Ohio, he always would. And if I hit the harmonies, then he would look at me at the end of it like he loved me. And he was, I don't know. We didn't live the same way. We didn't see eye to eye about a lot of things, and it was beautiful to sing with him, and that he would do me that favor whether or not he liked me. Meant a lot. So, thank you all for your
Next is Sabrina.
Hi. I have really bad stage fright, so bear with me. Paris bugged me a lot. He was vivacious and fucking fearless and drunk and so talented, and all of these things that I, like, in retrospect when I look at it, it's all of these things that I can't let myself be, except for the drunk part. That part I can do, but the it's like this weird dichotomy of the lack of apology for being a big spirit in the world. And I feel like we all struggle with being too much, or not enough. And so I'm going to read a poem I wrote that I did not write for Paris, but that is about that. And it's called Beastie Babes. Okay. There once was a girl with mud in her hair and twigs between her toes. She was always searching for something that she did not know. She couldn't name it and was restless all the time. On the clearest of nights, she could laugh at her desire, and on the cloudiest, there was nothing that made her matter. She painted, she scratched, she skinned her knees. She sang alone, but there were trees. She wailed and failed and made dinner for 3. And she buried herself nightly underneath dead leaves. Most of the time, she did not move with ease. Yet this moonlit child, she was part of the wild. And so for a long, long time, she stumbled on through lies and makeup and so many truths. And it wasn't one single day with glorious sun, but many small moments when she knew she had won. for it's okay to be a beastie babe. We come out at night so that we may bathe. Under us something that asks only this, that the movement of her wrists be genuine, and the curve of her neck be born from within. And when her shoulder blades begin to sharpen, breathe into her ear. Now is the time to soften, my dear. That's it. And so, so here's my hope and here's my blessing, is that he is softened and he can be as big and as all the things that he ever was
100%.
without any more apology ever and any more darkness. And I also wish that for all of us. So, thank you.
All right, that was Sabrina. Last person I got on the mic tonight is Brent, and then I'm gonna give my final say. Hopefully what I do at the end works for everybody, because I'm gonna do it regardless. And that's just how it's gonna go. So this is Brent.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out. Paris was one of the most amazing people I've ever met. I guess the biggest thing I would talk about now is there's a place called the Manic Mansion. If you guys ever recall the Manic Mansion, it used to be on 19th and Killingsworth. It was across the street, right across the street from the firehouse. And we had a lot of live-ins. We had a lot of everybody come in there, and Paris was one of the greatest people that came through there. But one of the greatest things I remember about, wow, I feel like Lemmy. One of the greatest things I ever experienced in Paris is when I was sleeping, and I wake up, and Paris is clung on me in my bed. And I'm like, Paris, what is going on, dude? And he's just like, and I'm going to do my best Paris rendition I can. But he's like, sometimes I get cold. and it was just, it was just like, well, I was like, cling on, baby. I don't even know what's going on, but, cling on. So that.
Only man that's ever done that to me, that was cool.
Yeah, and we had many a time, actually I wish I would have brought some music to play for y'all, but Paris completely impressed me all the time with his music and with his street knowledge and like just everything that he had done. And I have not actually, and to be honest, I have not seen Paris probably in about 4 or 5 years now. But I will completely remember Paris for that moment, though, that when he clung on to me and I got to hold on to him. And it was beautiful. That it was funny, it was hilarious. It was just like, because you're like, who's in my bed? And you're like, it's Paris. And Paris. And you're like, what are you doing, Paris? And he's like, I get cold. Sometimes. And so that was one of my biggest memories of Paris, besides all the other beautiful memories that we all have had. I'll miss him forever, and I totally feel with all of y'all right now how beautiful of a person he was. And so
I need to say also that you telling that story and being the last person speaking is really poignant, because he actually did pass away out in the cold. And I just felt like it was too much, that story of you saying that, like I just was like, that is like bringing it home right now.
And I didn't know, and actually, and to be honest, I don't know how Paris passed.
I just wanted to acknowledge, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I just wanted to bring that up.
But we snuggled. We snuggled. We were in the Manic Mansion.
With Paris?
Yeah. Yeah, we snuggled.
Like
Yeah. So
So I know you guys are closing up. I came in late, but thank you all for coming out to celebrate Paris. He's a beautiful, beautiful person, and never ever forget him. And I'm trying to be the musician that Paris was, because he's amazing. He was amazing. Like I tried to get on with him with his. I learned about it with the chord rhythms. That's what I can do. I'm like, I can try to be the chord rhythms, and then next thing you know, like Paris would be leading that charge, and yeah. But so thank you all. Thank you for coming out.
Thanks to Tim.
Yes, thank
All right, so here comes this part. I'm a church kid. That does not matter, but there is a way that things happen in churches that I kind of grew up doing, and it's kind of funny. So these are the announcements parts of the thing. So I'm gonna bring Victor up first to say something real quick, and then I'm gonna bring Keegan up first to say real quick, and then I'll do the benediction. That's how that works.
So, my name is Victor. I moved up to Portland to be a part of a venue called Adventureland that Paris played at the first night I was there. It looks like the room has doubled since I said that at the beginning of the show, so I want to make sure, set the pace, that Paris was part of my entire life in Portland. He was already a star by the time I moved here, and it's been really touching to see so many different groups of people that Paris knew. That, like, that entire group of people didn't know that that entire other group of people knew Paris. When I was living at that music house for 3 years, and Paris was performing regularly, I was also dating a woman who also had a drinking problem, and she died in 2020 at the age of 40. And I know that in Portland, we have a different Paris than Bloomington had and that Cleveland had. And I want to recognize that in people's lives there are these little deaths. That when I've seen on Facebook the pictures of Paris, 19, 25, 29, I didn't know that Paris. That person died before I met Paris. And unfortunately, by the time I met him, he was a person that alcohol had already affected. And I dated someone like that, and I watched them fall, and I watched Paris fall. And I know that there's so many people in this room, and John touched on it. We gave everything we could. And we shouldn't feel guilt. And if it wasn't the last day that we helped him, it would have been the next day that was our last day that we helped him. And I just want to tell everybody here that helped Paris, as someone who was loved an alcoholic to death, you cannot catch a falling knife, but you can juggle one. And for everyone in this room who helped juggle Paris, for everyone in this room who helped juggle Paris to give him one last day, thank you. Thank you. And Paris thanks you. Because as someone who has loved a falling knife, they know they're falling. And they are grateful that every last person in the room that helped them fall with as much love as possible. And we are born into this world having to accept death, and we are born having to accept people that will not drink the water in front of them. And we still have music, and every song that Paris ever sang with every one of you.
Hell yeah.
The people we stole this land from talk about the second death, when people stop saying your name. Let Paris never die a second death.
Yes!
I don't know how to follow that. It was absolutely amazing. And so I just wanted to make a quick announcement that we're going to be doing this all over again on Friday at the Landon Community Center, which is 20th and Killingsworth. right down there. Doors at 6 o'clock. You can approach me after this, and I'll give you all the details.
Say where again?
Again, that's 6 p.m. this Friday, the 11 Community Center up at 20th and Killingsworth. Beautiful space. They've got a baby grand piano. That's gonna be a similar format. I'm hosting, and we'll be doing just like open mic kind of format again.
6 till what time?
10. Well, 10. We have to shut off the amps at 10. Yeah, I've heard there's supposed to be potluck. And yeah, we can. Yeah.
We're gonna find another after party.
Yes, there'll be an after party for that, I'm sure. But so yeah, if I'm sure other people will get to come to that didn't come to this. So if you want to hear more stories about Paris, more songs from people.
Are people playing music tonight?
Huh? God, we're about to wrap.
I've got my guitar, so if anyone wants to play some music, we can play some music. Yeah, Donnie Vegas is next.
I'll talk about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that happen. So if anybody wants more details about that, come and approach me at 6 o'clock on Friday at the 11 Community Center up on 20th. Thanks, y'all. Thank you so much for your words, too. Everyone for getting brave and getting up here. I really appreciate you. All the love.
Thank you. Thank you, Keegan.
It was an unscripted show. Sometimes the unscripted parts happen like this. So I'm going to let one last person come up here real quick and get their thing. And this is Amy, y'all.
Hey, I met Paris around 2011. I may cry, but I'm still gonna talk. Like at the deli and the variant, and he's just magical. I was trying to describe him to another friend I called for comfort. And I said, Paris is like if a rainbow stayed on in the sky. And it just never faded, and it was way too bright, and it was just on, and it just never left. You'd be like, awesome, we have a rainbow all the time. And he was like, in a church service at night, there's like a midnight service around Christmas where they turn all the lights out. And they have one little candle, and they light another candle with it, and everybody in the church is holding an unlit candle, and they just pass it around, and slowly the room just lights up. And Paris did that to me. He did it to everybody. He just lit or relit the light in our soul, and we have to try as hard as we can to keep doing what we did, and make a world where weird people and artists and people that life is just too hard for. It's not hard for them. We have to try. We have to keep doing the music, and we have to keep doing, like, in August, he's like, if you paint, you need to paint. You need to be painting. You need to be making art. He's like, you have to do it. And he was still playing music then in August. We went to a grand piano, and he played every single request. Everybody who walked in the lobby, random people, we went downtown to a fancy grand piano. And we just played music, and everybody who saw him sat down and sang with him, total strangers. And that's just who he was. And I love that. I just hope we can continue that and remember him like that. And also, I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of anger. Try not to be towards myself, but I have anger that someone so strong and beautiful has faded and didn't make it. I'm angry about that. And I'm not at any specific person. I have a lot of unanswered questions. Now is not the time for that. But I was with him in like August, September, October. So if anybody wanted to reach out to me on Facebook, they could. My name's Amy Bennett, and I love Paris.
Woo!
So 30 minutes ago, it hit me how I was gonna finish this because, like I said, me and the people that I put it together with, like, it was just like, how are you gonna do it? I was like, I knew I had the stage, I knew I had the venue, and I knew I could do it, but at the same time, I knew I wanted to do it for Donnie Vegas in a way because it's like, that's literally where my relationship with Paris was, and to not make it any less, because obviously the bulk of everybody here is predominantly here for Paris, but I am going to go back to the other three names I said, Shantos, Christine, and Barbara, who I also all do at Donnie Vegas as a Donnie Vegas regular. That's why this was important for me to take this over there. So a couple things I want to say real quick before I'll say this last part. Like I said, if you want to donate to the families, I'm going to figure out specifically the families I need to, whether if I'm writing a check to, I'm going to write it specifically to the families. I'm going to give a portion of our sales tonight to the families already, but that does not include the next part that I'm about to say. If you want to donate personally, you walk to one of my bartenders, you say the name you want to donate to, and you tell them that name will be there. I will read it. I will give 100% of whatever that number is to the families to help out with all funeral and everything. That is very important to me. So I want that part to be said. Now this is how I'm gonna wrap it up. So I sing sometimes. That's cool. I'm not really worried about that part. But Paris sung all the time, and over at Donnie's, I wasn't one of those people that sung with Paris when he was singing, and people did that shit all the fucking time. I ain't gonna lie. It was just like Paris starts singing, and you have fucking sing-alongs like, dude, what the fuck? Right. But it did happen once. So when I say this came to me 30 minutes ago, it was almost like, oh my God, the only song I ever sung with Paris at this motherfucker was this one song. And I think it's perfect for this room. So I'm going to say my part, and I'm pretty sure y'all will all figure out where I'm going with it. And we will all be singing this song in about 20 seconds together. I actually do. I know that for a fact. And it kind of went just like this. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come to see you again. See where this is going? Winter, spring, summer, and fall. All you have to do is call, and I'll be there. You got a friend. One more time, and then we go on to dance. Ready? You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Sing it, everybody! Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend. I feel everybody in here is my friend now. If I didn't have you as a friend before, but that was perfect. Thank y'all for coming out to celebrate life. We celebrated life. And now, because I've been kind of babysitting drinks for a second, my wife told me don't come home drunk. I was like, I don't know if that's possible. You know I'm going to Donnie's. Thank you all. Thank you all. And let's celebrate Paris tonight and forever. Have a great night. Whoa, watch this. I'm sorry, hold on.
Hey everybody. My name is Justice, and I'm from Cleveland, and I knew Paris when he was a little kid. You know?
Oh no, I'm actually, this is perfect.
And if you know Paris, he probably talked about a place called Coventry in Cleveland Heights where we grew up at, and it was an amazing scene for art and people and culture. So when you sort of see Paris, you know, he brings a lot. I mean, culturally, he knows rock, jazz, soul, blues, gospel, you know. And growing up, I was a musician. a bunch of people were musicians, and we played in bands, and Paris was younger than me, but my boss, his son, and Paris, they were good friends. You know, they were young gay guys in Cleveland, and I remember going over to my boss's house, and they would be playing the piano, singing show tunes, and on the occasions I would see Paris play. You know, as a musician, I knew he commanded a lot of charm and a lot of power, and a lot of different ways that he could execute. You know, and you see these musicians, and you grow up and you see different musicians, and you see different things. I mean, everybody is coming off of everybody's back. You know, and I always think of this one story that this guy told me. This one guy told me, he said that he told me he met Sun Ra. And he said, I met Sun Ra, and he said, it was a bummer. And he said to Sun Ra, he said, I want to play with you. And Sun Ra said to him, how much music do you know? Everything. And this guy took this as an insult. And he said, he walked away, and he was pissed. And I thought, like, where I'm from, if somebody says, how much music do you know? You know, it's usually starting at gospel, going to blues, going to jazz, going to soul, you know. And I remember seeing Paris when he was young and playing, and he had so much promise. You know, he commanded such different energies, and he could pull them up, and he could, you know, he could go from James Taylor to James Brown, you know, in one song, you know. Nina Simone, you know. He commanded a lot, and he was definitely a gift to all of us in this whole thing with music and art. And I didn't see him a lot in Portland. You know, I really did not see him a lot in Portland. The last time I saw him, he didn't look like he was in very good shape. And yeah, man. But I had to come out tonight and represent Cleveland and represent some people. Thank you.